Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Lost Aux Media. I'm so happy to see you guys. I've been having a little bit of a rough week. You know, I've been sick this past week and it's not been very conducive to what I got going on with the rest of my life. You know, I run a freelance production and editing business outside of this, and I've had a pretty big gig this past week, and being sick has not been very kind to me, but I'm feeling immensely better now that I'm hanging out with you guys. Let's give it up for you, the real stars of the show here. But it's not just been this sickness that has been making me feel down lately. You know who else has been making me feel fucking sick? Bert Kreischer. This guy almost ruined a perfectly good interview with Dana White on one of their more recent episodes of Two Bears, One Cave. And trust me, we'll dive into that a little bit later because it is hard to watch. Then who else do we have on the docket for today? Of course, we're going to start the show with our new segment, What's Eating Ethan Klein. Ethan is going to bring on his attacker to have a debate on his show. You remember last episode we talked about that guy attacking Ethan outside of his car on Rodeo Drive, yelling a bunch of shit. That Sneeko fan to him and his wife. Well, now Ethan's about to bring the guy on his show to have a debate to try to make the guy look like an asshole. In reality, Ethan just kind of looks like he's just kind of trying to stroke his own ego with somebody who should be kind of beneath him. It's a little bit of a sus situation there. Then we got Reggie Watts talking about how he loves to drive around high on hallucinogens. So remember that for the next time you're driving around LA, if you happen to see Reggie Watts on the street, you better stay safe out there, okay? Then we got Tana Mojo. Oh no, Tana Mojo, yeah. We got Tana Mojo. She shares a creepy speech that she has tucked away in the chamber for Adam Sandler on the off chance that she ever meets this guy. Probably one of the most insane things I've heard come out of her mouth since I started watching that show, and that's saying a lot. Then we're going to talk about the second episode of the Talk Tuah podcast, Talk Tuah, right? We talked about how the show was boring as fuck, and somehow it's getting worse, okay? And then, of course, we're going to end the show on Dave Portnoy saying some more stupid shit on the BFFs podcast. I can't seem to get enough of this Dave Portnoy. Like, ever since I started watching that show, this guy, every show, he says the most dumbest shit, and he's dead ass serious about it. Like, I find it crazy funny to listen to watch the whole nine. So, I'm not going to hold you guys too long. Let's get into these time codes and start the show. So, like I said, we're going to get into this little debate that Ethan Klein ends up getting into with this Sneeko fan that had attacked him outside of his car on Rodeo Drive. Now, like I said, Ethan does all this to try to make it seem like he's going to make the guy the asshole in this situation, right? And like we talked about before, the guy is the asshole in this situation. You shouldn't just go running up on people's cars and stuff, no matter how much you dislike them. It's just a stupid thing to do. It's immature as fuck. So this guy already made himself look like an asshole. And he is a nobody, you know? And comparatively speaking to Ethan, this guy is nobody. So Ethan, okay, the guy posted it, it went viral. Whatever. Move on with your life. You're obviously in a better situation than this schmuck, right? Ethan doesn't do that. Ethan instead wants to have him on the show and try to make him look like an asshole. And like I said in the intro, all it does is it makes Ethan look like he's trying to stroke his ego to some nobody trying to flex on him live on air. It kind of doesn't end up panning out that way. Ethan just kind of tries to get this guy in like a bunch of gotcha journalism style questions, you know what I mean? Twisting everything the guy is saying around into being anti-Semitic or whatever it is. And the guy probably is. But once again, why are you even having this debate on your show? It makes no fucking sense. It makes you look like an asshole. So let's jump into these time codes and get into the H3 madness, you know?
To my good friend, Dating and Money 101, who's in the waiting room. Please bring him on, Dan. For Christ's sake.
Okay, so the guy's username online, the guy who attacked Ethan, his username is Dating and Money 101, right? So that should tell you enough about what kind of guy this person is. He's not somebody that Ethan should be wasting his time with. It's clear this guy is like a sneako wannabe cuck, you know? So once again, why are we doing this? It's just making Ethan look like an asshole, in my opinion. He could have done a lot more with his time than this, okay? So let's start with that. Then he wants to try to make fun of the guy by wearing a fedora. Like, you know, because fedoras are clearly played the fuck out, and the guy that he's about to debate with always wears a fedora. In fact, he was wearing a fedora when he called Ethan out. Called him a pedophile, if I'm not mistaken, which is crazy ironic to be wearing a fedora while calling somebody that. But I digress. Let's get into it.
Oh, what's up, brother? What is that? Is that a thing? Can you hear me? Are you doing something?
Yo, bro, I just want you to know, tell you and your girl, you see this place right here?
Yeah.
You guys will never be able to go inside of it, okay? No matter how hard you try, you're never, ever, ever, ever gonna be able to step inside this place.
That is the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Why can't I go inside of that?
Okay. So you obviously see the energy that we're talking about here, right? This guy, he's going to use this as an opportunity to just try to shit on Ethan and try to make Ethan look like an asshole. Ethan's doing the same thing, right? So what you have here are two retards trying to fight for the same goal. They don't realize they're both sitting in the number one spot on the podium. They both look like fucking idiots here. The fact, once again, Ethan even trying to make this guy look like a fool on his show is wrong. It's dumb. It's beneath him. It's a waste of his time. And anyone who's an actual fan of the show should look at this as a diversion. You know what I mean? There's something either he doesn't want to talk about, or maybe this guy actually struck a chord. You know what I mean? Like, when people truly get offended, like when they feel it, like attacking their character to the core, this is how defensive they get. You have to remember that when you see people getting defensive like this, it's because they believe it. The criticism that they got, they believe it. That's the only reason Ethan's having this debate. So I want to make that very clear. This is the energy that we're dealing with. This guy is not going to take this debate seriously. And if I was him, I probably wouldn't either. You know what I mean? Like, this kind of behavior is going to sum up pretty much what this whole thing is right here. Watch.
Have a real conversation about it. Do you hate Jewish people? It sounds like you might hate Jewish people.
I don't hate Jewish people, but
okay, but you're comfortable putting on. You're comfortable putting on.
Harder as a creator because I'm Palestinian.
Is it really that hard not to be anti-Semitic?
Yeah, I'm bald. I don't give a fuck.
See, like, this guy, he's not even paying attention to what Ethan's saying. This guy's getting defensive about apparently Ethan calling him bald. Ethan hasn't said anything about being bald, you know? So this guy, he's just using this as a megaphone. Whatever he wants to say, he's going to say. And Ethan's doing this whole gotcha journalism. This reminds me of like Piers Morgan almost. Ethan's kind of trying to do like a Piers Morgan, you know, without the British accent. They're both just as faggy as each other, but Ethan doesn't have a British accent. That's the only difference I'm seeing here. With the whole like, so you would say that you hate Jews, you know what I mean? And once again, this guy probably does fucking hate Jews. I don't think anybody's denying that. You know, he seems like a racist idiot cuck. That was actually on accident, but very good timing. So nobody's probably denying the fact that this guy's probably an anti-Semite. But every time he tries to say something, Ethan wants to like kind of do like an all roads lead to Rome type deal and bring it back to that point of him being an anti-Semite. I just think that's a pussy move. You could debate this guy on the whole intellect of him even wanting to do this in the first place, but he doesn't.
I'm bald.
Okay, bro. I didn't even bring it up. AB, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I find it funny that he says I don't represent the Arab community. Who are you?
You don't,
I
bro.
don't want you to represent me, Habibi. You're a fucking jarsa. That's what you are. You're an embarrassment. Please,
Bro,
I don't
your
need
girl don't
you.
even wear a
This
hijab, bro.
footage alone will be used against our people, and it's gonna do a lot
Bro,
worse
your
because you're a
girl-
fucking embarrassment. Yeah, no, you're just
your girl don't
anti-Semitic.
wear a
You have
hijab.
no.
Now, this I found interesting, that AB got so passionate in this moment to defend Ethan. And it's not because of the whole, oh, he's Islam, Ethan's a Jew type situation. That's not what this is about. I just find it funny that AB is always so fucking eager to jump down other people's throat in defense of Ethan, despite the fact that Ethan treats AB the worst out of everybody in the crew. And when I see stuff like this, I'm like, how fucking brainwashed is this fucking idiot? You know what I mean? Like, seeing him go flying off the handle like this in defense of Ethan, it makes me not feel bad for him anymore. It makes me feel like he wants to go through the shit that he's going through. You know what I mean? He could go through this whole debate without saying a goddamn word. Let's let Ethan make himself look like an asshole. You don't have to jump in to do that. You know what I mean? We're all looking at you like an asshole for the fact that you still work there. So you don't have to go out of your way to defend Ethan and make yourself seem worse. But he really laces into this guy. Watch this.
No
Bro.
fucking points other than you hate Jews.
Let your girl wear a bikini, bro. Your relationship's
Oh,
your
I
relationship's
see.
not
Oh,
gonna
God,
last.
But dude,
Don't DM
what are you
her.
talking?
Don't
You're
DM
the
her.
one that's trying to
Don't
flirt up
DM her,
OnlyFans
please.
models. Like, at least be consistent.
On
Just
top of
explain
that-
to me.
on
Hold
top
on,
of
hold on,
that-
hold on. You gotta ask.
Okay, so it's going to be like this. It gets like that a lot. A lot of people trying to talk over each other. Like I said, this guy's just using this as a megaphone. He's not trying to actually have a debate here. He's not listening to anything you assholes are saying to him. So it doesn't matter. It's very stupid that he's trying to like play the whole thing on AB. I will be fair here. It's very immature for him to try to play it on AB like, oh, you let your girlfriend wear bikinis, but you're a Muslim? Like, that's not even real Muslim. Who gives a fuck? All right? It doesn't matter. AB shouldn't have jumped in there. He made himself look like a total asshole, once again, for defending this guy that makes him look like a total asshole on a daily basis. Very stupid. And then the whole, they're making fun of him for wanting to chat up OnlyFans models and stuff like that. This is going back to my original point here. Okay? This guy is clearly an incel loser. Like, so why are we doing this? Why are we wasting everybody's time with this bullshit? All so that Ethan can just get a tiny stroke of his ego. You know what I mean? He just wants to stroke his ego just a little bit because this guy posted a video online and it went viral. And what? Like, what kind of guilt do we feel here that you want to defend yourself that bad? You dedicate a whole episode to this bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just stupid as fuck. Now, here's something that I thought was very funny about this whole thing. When they talked about it on the show prior to this guy, like, now that I'm mentioning it, this is like the second episode they dedicated to this guy. Now that I'm thinking back about it, they talked about this guy once on an episode already. The guy, this is prior to even setting up him calling in, right? So they already dedicated a full episode to shitting on this guy. And during that episode, of course, the show's big. People watch it. There was an OnlyFans model who happened to be watching the show. She ended up sending them screenshots of conversations that were taking place with this guy. Most of them being DMs that the guy was sending to her, trying to get in her pants. That's these OnlyFans models. You got to expect that. You're going to get a bunch of Harrys out there clacking away at that keyboard, dick pics, the whole nine, okay? But this guy was like extra with it, you know what I mean? Like so much so that he stood out of all those DMs that this OnlyFans model is getting. This guy fucking stood out. He's sending her voice notes, the whole nine. When are we gonna dance, love? They've actually been making that a pretty big soundbite on the show. A little bit funny, seeing as how Love on the show kind of seems like he would go for it. But that's getting beside the point. They end up showing screenshots of this one-way, quote-unquote, conversation. This guy sending DMs nonstop to this OnlyFans model. And Ethan was very adamant about how, like, this guy was pushing and pushing and pushing and getting no response. No response at all, right? Turns out the guy actually was getting responses, right? Now, I'm sure they weren't anything to write home about. She probably wasn't reciprocating the energy that he was giving back to her. But I found it funny that Ethan went out of his way to like doctor those photos and manipulate that situation to make himself seem a little bit better and make this guy seem a little bit worse when he really didn't have to. The guy already seemed like an asshole. So why did you fake that or try to fake it in a way to make him seem worse? Like Ethan's really going out of his way for this one. So I find that a little weird. Let's hear it from them. This is great.
I don't know why you're hating,
I mean, making
bro.
a business
started my
is.
business
I can
1 year
make a
ago.
business on like fucking Zoom lawyer for like $25. What does that mean?
Yeah, bro. I mean, I make pretty good money for my my age.
Okay,
and-
all right. So I stand corrected. You're doing very well.
You see what I'm talking about here? So before we even talk about the doctored photos real quick, this is what I'm saying. Ethan is punching down really fucking hard on this guy. Like this guy, I'm not defending him. He's an asshole. I get it. He's a total prick. He should, whatever he gets, he deserves. I don't know. However you guys want to fucking virtue signal that. Okay? He is an asshole. I'm not agreeing with this guy. I just want to be clear on that. But he's also somebody who is way beneath Ethan and his time. If this was me in this situation, yeah, okay, the guy had his viral moment. I might talk about it a little bit on the show, try to make the guy look like an asshole. I wouldn't be doing this. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of everybody's time, including this schmuck who agreed to take this call. He'll get exposure. The only person who's going to benefit out of this is that guy. That guy will get exposure. He'll end up getting slightly more followers. He might get a couple of hate comments from the H3 fan base. That's called engagement, bitch. Which is going to lead to his count growing a little bit more. He might not be like a viral sensation off of this, but he's the one who's winning. He's going to get a little bit of account growth off of this. He got exposure. Ethan, once again, made himself look like an asshole. Now, let's get back to those doctored photos.
Do you think that? So I want to ask you, the girl Scarlett, who you were obsessively DMing and sending voice notes to.
Yeah, okay. Why you?
Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. So the girl's name was Scarlett. She's sending all these conversations to him. This girl was transparent enough to send everything. She didn't cut out her responses to him. She sent them to Ethan. Once again, why is Ethan wanting to doctor these photos like this to try to make this guy seem worse? This guy already looks like a pretty big asshole to me. I'm repeating myself now. Let's hear it.
Scarlett, who you were obsessively DMing and sending voice notes to.
Yeah, okay. Why are you bullshitting, bro? Why don't you post the real messages? She was replying to me, sending she was replying.
I saw
to
it
me,
all. It's not that big of a deal.
Okay,
Literally,
so why did
is she a, well, whatever? I don't care. Is she a Mossad agent?
And this is what I'm saying. Back to the gotcha journalism type bullshit, right? Right there, he gets caught. The guy calls him out. Ethan even said, okay, yeah, she did respond. It wasn't that big of a deal. No, you're trying to make it not that big of a deal. It is a little bit of a big deal that you doctored photos to try to make this guy seem worse, Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. And then once again, when the guy calls him out on it, he reverts to this Pierce Morgan style of attack where he goes, anyway, is she a Mossad agent? Like, what a dumb fucking broad ass stupid fucking question, outlandish as fuck to ask. Let's be mature here. This, you know what's ironic about this? He does these things to try to prove the point that he's the mature one. You know, every time he has these debates, fresh and fit guys, you know, he tries to bring on like these Andrew Tate types, wants to bring on Steve Will Do It in the past. You know, now those guys are best friends. He does these things. This is the irony of this whole thing. He does these debates to try to make him seem like the more mature person. He doesn't. He looks like a fucking prick. And I'm going to prove that to you right now. This is one of the questions he asked this guy. That's not a gotcha journalism style Pierce Morgan question. And it happens to be immature as fuck. Listen to this.
Why are you so obsessed about my dick?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Why are you so obsessed with my dick? You know? Why are you so obsessed with my dick? Here's what's going to be funny. I'm about to play it for you now. He asked this question, right? The guy calmly, the guy doesn't get defensive like Ethan does. Calmly, the guy goes, I'm not. Ethan then gets a little bit emotional. He says, you literally brought it up the second that we opened the call. The second we started the call, you brought it up. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, rewind a little bit and go back to the very first time code that we started watching this show. He doesn't say shit about a dick. This guy opens with the fact that he says Ethan and his wife will never be able to go into some mosque. So Ethan, once again, trying to make this guy look like an asshole and only succeeding in making himself look like an asshole. Let's hear that again.
To share that? I mean, that's pretty nuts. Why are you so obsessed about my dick?
I'm not.
You brought it up the second you called in, and you've been...
You hear that emotion that Ethan's bringing up? You brought it up the very second that you got in here, you brought it up. Listen to him.
I'm not.
You brought it up the second you called in, and you've been posting about it on social media.
But you...
Oh, he's been posting about it on social media. This is where Ethan is starting to get upset about this. Remember, once again, I told you, when people get this defensive, it's because they believe it, okay? They believe the shit that people are saying about them. If they make it seem like they don't, trust me, they do. Deep down inside, Ethan probably really feels hurt about this. So he wants to use the biggest weapon that he has in his arsenal, which is his show and his fans. Not looking so good for you, Ethan. Let's listen to this.
You brought it up the second you called in, and you've been posting about it on social media.
Listen to what he says back.
You said your dick didn't work.
Oh, I talked over it. Listen to him. Listen to how he calls out Ethan. I love this.
And you've been posting about it on social media.
But you said your dick didn't work.
What the fuck?
Got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. See, this guy, he's taking a pretty big low blow at Ethan. This one, you know, it's fun to make fun of Ethan about this, but it is a problem that men happen to share across the nation. Ethan, he takes these SSRIs because they're antidepressants or anxiety medication or something. I don't know. I don't take shit like that. So he takes these to like stabilize his mood, because if he doesn't, he's a depressing, lazy, boring fuck. Okay? And one of the side effects of these medications, apparently, is you get a smidge of ED. Just a smidge. Just enough to where, you know, people start to talk about it just a little bit, you know? And Ethan, he's I will give it to him, he's very open about this stuff. You know, he says it all the time. My dick has lost sensation, man. All these SSRIs, they're making my dick lose sensation, man. So, you know, naturally, this guy is going to take that and he's going to run with it, right? So it's not an obsession with your dick. He's taking the one thing that he feels is your most vulnerable trait and he's using it against you. He's trying to weaponize it against you, right? The same way you're trying to weaponize this show and this debate against him, he's weaponizing your flaccid dick against you, okay? Let's listen to this.
I believe I said that my dick lost sensation due to the antidepressants. But why? What is that clip?
Erectile dysfunction?
No, that's not erectile dysfunction. It just means it has less sensitivity. So why?
See, so this guy, obviously gonna try to use this as an opportunity to make Ethan look like an asshole, and it's kind of working. As much as I hate to say it, he really is succeeding in making Ethan look like an asshole. And he's not the only one. He's not the only one making Ethan look like an asshole. As a matter of fact, Ethan is doing a pretty good job of making Ethan look like an asshole. Like, so I don't know if he's joking or what. I'm leaning towards he's joking, but like what is behind this joke, right? Now, obviously this is vague and I'm not contextualizing it, and I will do that now. Ethan's about to offer this guy a job. Like, and once again, I don't know if it's a joke. I'm more leaning towards it's a joke. But what's the joke? Like, what's the joke? So you can offer him a job, right? And the guy, what? You think he's gonna get excited and be like, yeah. And then you're gonna be like, psych, bitch. No job for you. Okay. We lied about that. You're a piece of shit. Wow. Big round of applause. If that's the joke, that's the greatest joke I've ever heard. Fucking Pryor couldn't have written a better joke than that. So what's the joke? There's only two options here. You're either joking or you're not. And if you're not, this is pathetic as fuck. You look like a pussy, okay? I hate to say that, but it's true. So, once again, if it's a joke, you look like an asshole. If it's not a joke, you look like a pussy. So, either way, who's winning here? Well, I say that again. Who is winning here?
Listen, buddy. Honestly,
I'm sick.
You're never going to be able to step foot in that Luxor Masjid, all right? Always remember that.
No, I want to be real with you.
Ever. You will never. I swear to God, you will never, bro. Never.
No, I understand.
Ever.
No, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you. I want to level with you. Honestly, I've been goofing around, but I think you're a good dude, and I think your heart is in the right place.
Thanks, dude. God bless you, bro.
And I want to say something else.
What?
You're interested in filmmaking, and I think you're pretty funny and good on camera. You need help with the audience stuff, but you're good on camera. Would you ever work for us?
Hell no, bro.
It's a big opportunity for you.
I wouldn't.
Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is crazy that Ethan's doing this. If this is a joke, it's not a very good one. Surprisingly enough, this guy sticks to his guns. He says, fuck no, I can't work for a Zionist. I'm sorry, buddy. I just cannot do it. You're a piece of shit. Whether Ethan's a Zionist or not is something that I could give two shits about. But as much as this guy's an asshole, you got to give it to him for sticking to his guns and apparently sticking to whatever quote-unquote morals he has. Now, this is something I thought was interesting. We're going to end the segment on this one. This guy says like a one-off comment that they kind of just pass by, but it kind of stuck with me. He says like, why do you do that to the black people? Or he says something along those lines to Ethan. And it gets brushed over. Ethan kind of goes like, what do you mean? And then they just kind of go to the next topic. They don't even touch on it at all. And I think that the guy maybe didn't want to try to come off as like that guy online. But my feeling is that he's referencing the fact that the H3 show, not a lot of brothers hanging around that bitch. You know what I mean? And I'm talking like from the staff to anytime they have segments, live shows, guests, the whole nine. They got one token black guy as a moderator. This crazy fat fuck. I don't even remember his name. It was crazy listening to this guy talk on mic. The one time that I heard him talk on mic, he talks about how he appreciates the fact that Ethan went out of his way to tell him that he wasn't going to be the token black guy on the crew. And when he was doing it, it seemed like this guy had ran like a 3-mile marathon on the way to the mic. The mic was probably maybe a good 20 feet away from where this guy was working. This guy was already out of breath. So Ethan, he just hired like some 500-pound black guy and actually went out of his way to tell this guy, like, hey, man, you're not going to be the token black guy on the show. Guess what, buddy? The second that he said that to you, you became the token black guy on the show. I'm sorry. That's just the way these things work, okay? So they bring up this comment in passing, and I thought that was very, very strange. There's probably not much to this, but I've noticed since I started watching the show, it's very light up in that bitch.
What a fool you
You
are.
are a Zionist, bro.
What a dumbass.
You are a Zionist.
Yeah, I'm a Zionist, and you're a fucking dumbass.
All right, bro. Hey,
Good luck out
I'm my
there.
mama, bro. You better watch how you talk to me, bro.
All
Hey,
right.
but why y'all do that to the black people, though, bro?
Black people.
What? Can we talk about this? This is something.
See, Ethan even said, black people? What do you mean black people? Ain't no black people around here. There better not be. This is the H3 show, goddammit. Better not be no brothers around here. Now, once again, I'm probably putting more into it, but I do notice since I started watching the show, not too many brothers coming around the H3 podcast, okay? And that'll do it for the What's Eating Ethan Klein segment of the show. I hope you guys enjoyed that one as much as I enjoyed talking about it, because Ethan is one jamoke that seems like that well's never going to run dry. You know what I mean?
You know, and then
It seems like no matter who he has on, what type of situation he's getting himself into, he just always makes himself seem like an asshole. And sometimes it's not just him, it's his guests. Now, ironically enough, I talked about how there weren't too many brothers on the H3 show. And we're about to talk about Reggie Watts, who's on the H3 show. Last time Ethan had this guy on the show was 3 years ago. So that's the last time a black guy has been on the H3 show. And when Reggie gets on here, it's a very light, fun episode. You know, Reggie Watts is a very fun character. He makes pretty decent music for being a complete oddball. But the one thing I wanted to talk about is Reggie's fascination of drugs and how much he likes taking drugs. Not just recreationally. He takes that shit like a professional. To the point to where, like, if you see this guy driving around LA, there's a good chance he might be a couple acid hits deep, my friend. You have to be careful with these types. This guy, when they take the drugs and they think they could do anything, these are the type of people that you see eating people's faces on Rodeo Drive, high on bath salts. The guy was at work 20 minutes ago, but he thought the bath salts, he thought he could handle that through his workday. Next thing you know, he's out of a job and locked the fuck up. Now let's listen to Reggie Watts talk about this. Funny enough, they also get to talking about that fucking desensitized penis of Ethan's too. This is actually kind of a jam-packed one, if you will.
you know, and then sometimes if you're, let's say, a woman, you know, and like they can use lube to make things easier, that might not necessarily help a man if it's not happening.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm
That is true.
saying?
Yeah, but you know, it's like the lady comfort, you know, is kind of maxed on that situation, because I would hate to be someone not giving someone a good time. That would make me feel terrible.
Yep.
But
Look at that. I felt like that was kind of a little side dig to Ethan. He's basically saying, like, man, if I was in your shoes, I'd feel like a fucking asshole. If I couldn't, like, do it for my lady friend, whoever that lady friend might be, kind of make me feel like a little bit of a prick. You know what I mean? You got quite the issue there. You got to take care of that.
I don't know. I'm just saying it's all solvable, guys.
Yeah, we can get out there and
We can get out there.
figure it out.
SSRIs,
For
they
men.
don't fuck up your bones.
Do they?
I don't know. You just said that they don't.
Your bone.
See, now this is funny. Reggie's trying to be like a funny, witty guy here, right? And he's almost like taking it out on Ethan when Ethan questions it. He's like, do they? And Reggie gets a little emotional. I don't know. You just said that they don't, right? Here's the hang up. Reggie goes and says, SSRIs, they don't fuck up your bones. He meant to say boner, all right? So Ethan's like, wait, what are you talking about? SSRIs don't. Do they mess up your bones? He's asking him, and Reggie gets like a little bit emotional with him. He's like, I don't know. You just said that they don't. Reggie might be high on some of these hallucinogens right now because he's not understanding the conversation here. But they get to talking about a little bit of that drug talk here in a little bit. Listen to this.
Bones. I thought you were saying osteoporosis.
Oh, no. I'm sorry about
Wait,
that.
hold on.
They don't fuck up your boners.
It just, if you have yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I don't know. I've been into taking Cialis recreationally.
Yeah?
Recreation.
See what I'm talking about here? What the fuck are we doing? So this is what I'm saying with Reggie Watts. This is as much as I dig Reggie Watts. This is fucking crazy behavior here. You can't be, oh man, I'm just gonna be taking Cialis or whatever. That's like Viagra. You know what I mean? So this guy, not only is he driving around high on acid, you know what I mean, but he's got a fucking rock solid boner. So he's dangerous on so many levels. You know what I mean? Whether he's gonna poke your eye out, eat your face, or accidentally run you over, I have no idea. Because if you look at this guy, he's on a fucking cocktail like no other. He's probably on the fucking moon right now. You know? And to think, this guy is behind the wheel during all of this. That's insane.
Yeah.
I've taken it before recreation.
You can take, you take it like a small amount. You don't take the full dose.
Wait.
And that's interesting.
Cialis? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, is that an erectile dysfunction?
It's like a Viagra.
Okay, for a second, I thought it was the smoking quitting one, and I was like, why would you take the recreation?
I know.
No, it's for, it's like
for-
Viagra.
Okay,
Yeah, it's like
got it,
Viagra, but
That's
at small doses, it's really interesting.
Why not
'cause-
high doses? Let's get it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're gonna try at some point again. My girlfriend.
Very liberal drug user, and I respect that about you.
Well, I just think
like
life
to get
is
out
for
there.
living. And consciousness is interesting, and it's interesting to experience consciousness from different angles,
Right.
and discover all the commonalities in every high that you're at. It's like that's why I don't. When friends of mine are like freaking out on drugs, I'm like the opposite because I've been training my whole life to be able to if I get really high on a drug, I can still get us out of a fire.
See, so that's a very scary fucking thing to hear right there. I've been taking drugs my whole life. I'm trained. So he's looking at these drugs as if they're like Super Mario power-ups or something. Like he sees the magic mushrooms as like this is gonna make him like invincible. He wants to conquer these hallucinogens and 2CBIs and all this crazy ass cocktails that this guy is ingesting on a daily. That's a scary thought. It's not. You don't want to brag about like your tolerance. I smoke a lot. I can do a lot when I smoke. Is that a good thing? No. Okay? It's not good that I have such a high tolerance when I smoke. As a matter of fact, if they made weed that was like, it would never boost your tolerance, I'd smoke it all the time. Because you just end up wasting more money on bud. You don't want to get to the point to where like you can start functioning on drugs. That's not what drugs are for, okay? Drugs are for like relaxing and having a good time, You can't be taking these drugs and then doing serious shit, okay? That's not the way that this works. Listen to this guy.
Okay.
I can still drive. I can still
You can still drive?
Oh yeah. I mean, to the limit. Not alcohol. I exclude because I don't really drink alcohol, and I think alcohol's a piece of shit drug.
It is the
but
worst.
but I mean, up until a certain point, I suppose you can feel like nice and I feel good and loose, and then all of a sudden you take one tiny sip more, and then it's like it sucks, and then got this hangover. But not a very good drug. But I would say like on psychedelics, yeah, I figured it out.
Change my state of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen,
So hard to find.
We got him. Reggie Watts driving around high as fuck on hallucinogens. Let's give it up for him. I find that insane to me. Like, okay, alcohol is the devil, but you're going to drive around high as shit on acid, and that's totally cool? Okay, I mean, maybe that's just me. I don't know. A little bit wild. But let's get into this next set of time codes. I want to talk about Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura's interview with Dana White on Two Bears, One Cave. This shit was cringy as fuck. You ever have that like one annoying friend in the group that like, I don't know, maybe you feel like he's still cool enough to hang out with, which I imagine is what Tom feels when it comes to Bert. But anytime you bring that friend out to like a public function or like event, party, whatever, you can almost count on them to completely fuck up the vibe at least a handful of times throughout the night. You know, but for some reason you still hang out with this guy, even though you know that they're annoying as fuck, at least out in public. That's kind of the vibe I got out of this interview with Bert and Tom. It almost seemed like Tom was trying to like get in with like a cool kid in high school, Dana being the cool kid, and he got stuck hanging around with his annoying best friend. And he knows that it kind of might fuck up the chance that he has to be friends with this cool kid. And you can really like gauge that energy throughout the whole interview. And you could tell Dana doesn't want to put up with Bert's shit. Tom doesn't want to put up with Bert's shit. They even mention it's like 9 a.m. Bert's fucking down to half a bottle of Poroso's vodka. So this guy is like, I find it crazy to me that he cannot pick up on the fact that probably everybody around him can't stand to be around him. It's fucking insane to me. But that's just Bert, I guess. You know what I mean? What are you going to do about it? So let's jump into the time codes and check this out. Right from the rip, you can see this very awkward energy going on here. Watch this.
All right, we are here. Another episode, Two Bears, One Cave. We're in Las Vegas, and we're being joined by the one and only Dana White. Dana, thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me, boys.
We were talking about our kids a second ago.
Yep.
Here's what I'm thinking already. Just in the brief conversation we were just having about your kids, they...
Look at Tom's demeanor right here. Very closed off. He doesn't know how to act. You know what I mean? He's looking at Dana as if Dana's like the coolest kid in school. And Tom wants to be a part of that. Whatever Dana's got going on, Tom wants in. Because if you've ever noticed, Tom lately, in the past like 3 years or so, YMH hitting it off. They're making tons of money. They got a big podcast network. This guy's selling arenas out the fucking wazoo, goddammit. So they're making a lot of money. And if you've noticed, Tom, he's kind of like has been transitioning that whole time into like wanting to be part of the like elites. You know what I mean? He's private jets all over the place. He's going to Italy to get custom suits. He wants to buy all these different Rolexes, buying all these nice expensive sports cars. He really wants to like live that lifestyle. And Dana's a gambling tycoon. So he's looking at Dana like Dana's like part of the elites. And Tom wants in on that. And you could see it in Tom's demeanor right here. And listen to the way he's talking and everything. You could tell he's like almost like reserved in a way because he's nervous. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing or fuck this up.
You seem to have like the same drive as Dad because you got like 3 kids.
See how nervous he is? And look at Bert. Bert staring at Tom, acting like this, acting giddy like this. He's fucking pissed. Bert's sitting over there thinking to himself in his head like, oh, Tom never acts like that towards me. Shut the fuck up. So you can see right away, let's zoom in on Tom a little bit and look at like the way that his body language is while he's talking to Dana like this. Watch.
Seem to have like the same drive as Dad because you got like 3 kids that are killing
Bert's
it. Like,
pissed.
did you instill this in them? Because this is impressive stuff already.
I don't know. I think I've thought a lot about this type of stuff.
So now they're about to start getting into it, right? You see very awkward behavior coming out of Tom right out the rip. You could tell he's like a nervous kid. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. Bert's looking a little sad that his best friend is kind of drooling over this new guy. You know what I mean? And now they're about to start getting into it. Bert, right out the rip, is about to start trying to come in with the interruptions. Dana's not having it. Watch this.
I think, some people are born with it and some people aren't, but it definitely the environment you grow up with helps.
Huge, yeah.
You know, like I when you have boys, which you do,
Yeah.
as a father, you know, you feel like, and especially if I'm their father, you feel like the first thing you have to do is teach them how to fight. So my kids trained in jiu-jitsu and Muay Thai and boxing and all that stuff at a young age. But it's fascinating how they become who they're going to become.
Right.
I was always a fight guy. I like watching football, and I'll watch some of this, some of that, and whatever. But my oldest son was in love with football. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely
I
fell in love
remember
with football.
watching that documentary.
From the first time.
See that shit? What the fuck? So Dana, right, like Bert's trying to come in. I remember watching that documentary. Bert wants to try to like shift this conversation so that he can tell a fucking story like he always does. Dana doesn't put up with that shit. Dana steamrolls his ass. Watch this.
Son was in love with football. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely
I
fell in love
remember
with
watching
football.
that documentary.
From the first time he ever started playing.
You notice Dana doesn't even fucking break stride. He continues with the story because he knows he's seeing it right out the rip. He's like, if he's doing this now, I have to set a precedent. Because if I don't, this guy's going to fuck up this whole interview for me. And I'm not wasting my time to do this fucking show if they're going to be the only ones talking. You know, Dana probably actually values his time, unlike these two. Now watch this. This is what Dana's already bringing up the fact. This is not even 10 minutes in. Dana's about to bring up the fact that Bert's drinking his ass off at 9 a.m.
You'll find out of.
The most important question that I think anybody can ask you is definitely, let's talk about blackjack.
Okay,
so you
yes,
are.
yes. This is fucking
there's
perfect.
so many.
You see that? How Bert does this? You see how Bert's trying to do this? Trying to interject? In my opinion, Bert should have took the night off for this one. He is clearly out of his element here. And you could tell that by the way he's trying to like butt into these things. And these two are just ignoring the fuck out of him. They don't give a shit about this. Anything that's about to come out of Bert's mouth for the next hour and a half or so, they don't give two fucks about. Okay? And it's obvious. You can tell. If you pay attention closely and you watch, it's almost like Dana and Tom are just having a completely separate conversation. And Bert just has to sit there and like put up with it. Almost like he's like Tom's girlfriend who like doesn't fully understand what Tom's hobbies and passions are, but she's there and she has to make the best out of whatever conversation's happening, right? That's kind of the vibe that's happening here. You know? And it's funny as hell to watch Bert try to interrupt again and get steamrolled again.
Blackjack.
Okay,
so you are.
Yes. This is fucking
there's
perfect.
so many stories.
See, even Tom, Bert's trying to butt in here, and Tom's like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, can I finish the fucking question, please? And it just keeps getting worse. This is probably one of the best displays I've seen in a long time of Bert, like, finally just people acting the way that they should towards him. When you got a guy that annoying, that drunk, that stupid and obnoxious and obviously oblivious to the way he acts and the way people perceive him, the best thing to do is ignore him. You know what I mean? What else are you going to do? And that's kind of what they keep doing here. And then it starts getting like a little bit cringy too.
Podcast.
Anyway, when I walk into a casino, I love the fact that it's me versus them, right? This big, powerful casino versus me, and we're going to go fucking toe-to-toe tonight.
My
And
dick's
the
getting
other
hard.
thing that I love is
Yeah.
Vegas, no matter how.
You hear that? You hear that bullshit? Listen to this. He says this, right? Dana's starting to get into the gambling talk, right? And Bert's starting to get excited. But he's getting excited for all the wrong reasons. He's getting excited because he's like, okay, this is my opportunity to finally butt into the conversation. I might be able to get a sentence in or two. You know? That's how this is the reason why he's getting excited. But they don't give a shit about that. They're talking about big boy stuff, all right? These two, like, actually want to, like, get together and play blackjack and actually win some goddamn money. They know that if a guy like you gets involved, you're just going to become a drunken mess and they're going to have to deal with your bullshit for the rest of the night. They don't like that, okay? Dana doesn't like that. So Bert's getting all excited. He goes, my dick's getting hard. Watch. I'll zoom in on it. You see Dana's face. Dana's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Once again, professional, doesn't break stride in his conversation for the podcast. But Dana's like, I didn't sign up for this shit. This guy fucking gay? What's happening here? Watch this.
It's me versus them, right? This big, powerful casino versus me, and we're gonna go fucking toe to toe tonight.
My
And
dick's
the
getting
other
hard.
thing that I love is Vegas.
Look at Dana's face. Dana's like, what the fuck is happening here? Look at this shit. He's looking over at Tom like, you better do something, because if you don't, I'm gonna. God damn it. If you don't do something about this, I will. Okay? Dana's not about that shit. And then it's going to keep going. It's going to keep going. Now, here's something that I thought was kind of funny. A lot of people online, especially this podcast cringe guy. You guys know this podcast cringe? This fucking guy? As insightful as that channel is, I just can't stand listening to these guys do commentary with British fucking accents. You know what I mean? Like, listening to podcast cringe talk about Bert Kreischer as if he's going to, like, fucking come up with some crazy epiphany. I don't know. I'm not doing it justice. Insightful channel. Get a different VO guy. I don't know what to tell you. But that guy, he's always bringing up the fact that Bert's like a shit dad. And I believe it. You didn't even have to tell me that. I would have believed that Bert's a shit dad. But you're going to hear it come out of Bert's mouth right here. Watch this.
Rangers are generating. You know what I mean?
So you can bet $450,000 a hand at Bellagio. You can bet $350,000 a hand at Caesars, and Red Rock lets me play $100,000 a hand.
And it's because I don't know anything about the game. A hand, is it over quickly? Like, is it a complicated or quick thing?
So what happens is, you guys got to come do this with me.
Yeah, I want to. I want to.
Absolutely not.
I want to.
So now they're talking about doing Baccarat. You know, Dana's talking about how he's recently became a Baccarat guy. And, Dana's betting big money. Big money. $400,000 a hand. These guys, they're not with that shit. They're making good money, but they're not making $400,000 a hand good money. So, they start getting excited talking about it and stuff. And then Bert lets out the goods. Listen to this.
Absolutely not. I love the tickle of gamble. The thing I love about gambling is when you're not thinking about drinking, you're not thinking about your family, you're in the moment, and everything's tingling inside you, and you go, and your heart's racing. That moment of gamble.
See, this is some bullshit, because Bert talks about having these types of moments a lot. Replace the word gambling with like anything. Drinking, sleeping, doing stand-up. He's like, I love the moment when you're not thinking about your family. You're not thinking about your responsibilities. You're not thinking about anything else. This is the only reason this guy drinks. Is because he's like, he probably realizes he's such a fat, fucking pathetic loser who happened to get lucky that he's like, man, I have to do something to like numb the fucking imposter syndrome that I have. Because if it wasn't for him getting that piece in Rolling Stone magazine, and for some odd reason Will Smith ended up taking a liking to this guy, he would be nothing. Because I'm telling you, the fact that anybody finds this guy fucking funny is like an anomaly to me. I've actually never even heard the Machine story. I've never even fully heard it. And the reason for that is because this guy is so fucking annoying that I couldn't even bring myself to like hate watch one of his stand-up specials. That's how fucking annoying he is. Now, let's listen to him once again try to butt into these conversations, and the boys just ignoring the shit out of him.
So the night the Eagles play, which is one of my favorite bands of all time, the Sphere will be the star. But you're going to be listening to the fucking Eagles live. So what I have to do is I have to go in, and the Sphere can be the star of the show, but not during the fight.
So now Dana, he's talking about how he's about to rent out the Las Vegas Sphere on Cinco de Mayo. He wants to put on this big UFC event, and he's talking about how when these events happen at the Sphere, The Sphere is a show. It's such a big venue, you know what I mean? You have like a little octagon in the middle. What are people going to get out of that, you know? So he's telling them about how he's got to, you know, come up with a way to make people enticed when they're there. And this is where Bert's about to butt in. Once again, keep in mind, think about like, it's like, picture like you and like 4 other people at a high school party chatting, right? And then you got that one nerdy fucking loser that's just sitting right outside your group. And he's like listening to everything that everyone's talking about. He tries to butt in so that he could like finally be a part of the conversation. He finally gets a chance to have a conversation with the cool kids. And that group of kids is not responding to that at all. They could give 2 shits. They actually wish that kid wasn't at the party, you know? Keep that in mind when watching this. This is what's happening with Bert right now.
Yeah.
So how do you fucking have the sphere that is the star, yet everybody has to pay attention to the fight. And then everything.
So now see what I'm talking about here? What the fuck is that? Dana hasn't even said anything. It's not like he's saying like, this is what we're going to do in the Sphere when we get there, and this is what's going to blow people's minds. He hasn't said shit. All he said is, when we get the Sphere and we put our vent in it, we have to figure out a way to make it enticing for people to watch it. That's the only thing he said here. And Bert's like trying to like fake this excitement about it so that he could like come off as cool to Dana, or to come off as if he knows what Dana's talking about or even gives a shit. This is sad right here to see this. Watch this again.
Yeah.
So how do you fucking have the sphere that is the star, yet everybody has to pay attention to the fight. And then everything that we do that night production-wise,
see, and they don't give 2 shits. He's like faking this excitement to try to be like one of the guys, you know? And it's just really fucking dumb. Now, remember I was telling you about how Bert's like pouring it up during that. They talked about how he was drinking at 9 a.m. earlier. I actually think I forgot to go over that, but Dana says it to him. Dana brings up the fact that he's drinking a bottle of Porosos. They're interviewing at like 9 o'clock, right? Watch Bert. This is rich. Bert pulls out this pour that'll fucking end any regular guy. Bert busts out this handle of Porosos and starts pouring himself a cup. Dana catches on. Dana like almost stops what he's saying because he notices Bert's alcoholism is fucking running rampant during this interview. Watch this.
Shittiest business to work for. These guys, you know, you get these fucking kids that just got out of college that are your supervisor or boss or whatever, and they got that bullshit. If you're fucking 5 minutes late, you get written up.
Yeah.
3 of them and you get a fucking this, that, so many and you get fired. When you treat people.
Look at that shit. Jesus Christ. Look at the size of that fucking bottle of vodka. Look at that. I'm actually gonna stay zoomed in. We're gonna go back. Right now we're zoomed in on the mic stand, but we need to stay at this angle if you're gonna really get the full effect of this pour. Watch this fucking pour. That, mind you, it's 9 o'clock. He's already had at least one of these cups on camera. Let's not forget like how many he's had prior to even starting this interview. Watch this pour of vodka out of this fucking handle.
And this, that, so many and you get fired. When you treat people.
Look at that. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Look at the size of that bottle. And I'm telling you, watch how much he pours into it. This is wild.
So many and you get fired. When you treat people.
Bro, the cup was empty when he started. When he finished pouring that vodka, the cup was more than halfway full. This guy, look at Tom. Tom looking at him. What the fuck are you doing? It's 9:30, my friend. Let's see Dana. Dana's just closing his eyes. Dana doesn't even want to watch. Dana feels for it. He's like, dude, this guy is like, what? Dana's probably questioning, like, what am I even doing here? Let's see it all together. Let's see all of them together. Watch how they react to this. Watch their faces and how they react to this. This is wild. Watch this.
And you get fired. When you treat people.
Look at that. Dana stops, pauses. Tom stops, looks over. What the fuck is happening here?
I don't even want to say something stupid like slaves, like some victim bullshit.
You know, so they all just got like real off-put by that, right? Now watch. Remember, I the whole point of this is Bert's the annoying friend that these two don't want around. Tom's trying to make like a new cool friend, and Bert's really fucking up the vibe. Keep that in mind. Now listen to this. Tom wants to gamble with Dana. You know what I mean? He obviously wants to share a little bit of this gambling fun with his new cool friend, right? Now listen to this, because later you find out Tom doesn't want to do it with Bert. He doesn't want to gamble with Bert. He just wants to gamble with Dana. Listen to this.
Look, man, we could talk to you forever.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man.
We're gonna wrap this up.
You're fucking amazing.
Yeah, you are.
You are fucking amazing.
There goes Bert. He can't even let Tom fucking finish with the closer.
We'd love to see you at a fight, but more importantly, next time I come to Vegas, I would love to hit the baccarat table with you.
Done. I'm
gonna text you, and I would love to do it.
September 27th and 28th, I'm at the. Where am I?
I don't know.
I am.
See, this drunk fuck can't even get through his dates. Like, what the fuck is happening here? You know? So now, that was, you know, Tom being like, yo, let's gamble. Dana's like, yeah, dude, I'm on board. Now Bert's trying to get in on it. Listen to Bert. Now Bert wants to gamble as well. Dana, you know, he's nice. He goes like, yeah, okay, you know. And then he probably looks over at his people. He goes, make sure we don't answer that call, okay? When we get that call, make sure we don't answer it, okay? But listen to Bert. Now Bert gets in on it.
Let you pay 10 a hand. What is the number that you want to walk away with? What do you want to win that night?
I'm going to say a ridiculous number because I don't know money. Like $1 million?
$1 million. That's a big fuck. You have a $250,000 credit line.
Okay.
You can play 10,000 a hand. You want $1 million?
I don't know.
See? Dana's like, you want to bet 10,000 a hand, you want to win $1 million? You only have $250,000 line of credit? I can't take you gambling with that. You know that like when you win a bet, you only double the money. If you put 10,000, you only win 10,000 back if you win that bet, right? You know how long that would take you to get to $1 million? So Dana already, he's like, I can't bring this guy gambling. He doesn't even fucking understand how money works. Like he's gonna fuck the whole vibe up. Listen to this.
No, I don't know.
How about if you were to win?
If I was to win
$100,000.
If I won $100,000, I could pay Bobby Lee, and I'd be good.
Hey, Bobby Lee.
I can pay him $10,000. You know, Bobby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but
now see this one. That I don't understand. If Bert wins $100,000, he could finally pay back Bobby Lee 10. I'm gonna have to do some digging into this because I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Anybody who's watching this, you happen to know what's going on there? Leave a comment below because I'm gonna have to do some digging because that seems like a very juicy situation. Okay? Why would Bert need $100,000 to pay back Bobby Lee 10? Very odd to me.
like $100,000. Is that a lot?
Yeah, but we'll do it.
Okay. I'm going to be at Resorts World September 27th, 28th. I got a $250,000 marker. We'll go to your casino. We're going to play Baccarat. And I'm cool at $100,000.
Now watch. This is where it gets funky. This is where Tom is like, yeah, I won't be part of that trip. I'll book mine separately, you know. I don't think I want to be part of that. You know, he knows. Listen to this. Right from it. This is supposed to be Bert's best friend. Listen to this.
Okay. All right. Did you ever see the video with Dave Portnoy?
Yes.
Did I ever tell you that?
I did. Yes,
Where
I
literally
did.
I won the entire fucking staff that was there with him that night.
Incredible.
I said, what do you want to win? They told me we won it. What do you want to win? Done it. What do you want to win?
I can't wait. I can't wait.
I'm gonna
fucking
book.
wait.
I'm gonna book a separate trip to do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna come.
Just
in
come
with-
out when I'm here.
I don't think I'm probably working that.
No, you're not. Just
you
cancel
don't
it.
know that I'm.
Bro, this is supposed to be Tom's best friend. Tom doesn't even want to fucking go gambling with him. That's rich right there. That is fucking rich. Watch this one more time.
Wait.
I'm gonna
fucking wait.
I'm gonna book a separate trip to do this.
Okay.
I'm gonna come.
Just
in
come
with-
out when I'm here.
I don't think I'm probably working that.
No, you're not. Just
Look at that. I'm probably working that night. Sorry, buddy. I can't do it. I'm probably working that night. You know, anything to get away from you for at least a little bit. I got to deal with you at least once a week. God damn it. What the fuck? So let's give a round of applause for Bert Kreischer and Tom. Mostly Bert. Bert was definitely the star of that one, you know, and that's kind of like Bert's thing. He kind of always wants to be like the star of everything, which is really the one thing that kind of makes him like an insufferable person. And like that's kind of like Bert's whole thing, you know. But we're about to put on some music and have ourselves a little smoke break. How's that sound? You guys dig that? You know? Let's just have a couple puffs and then we can get into the rest of these jamokes on this wonderful episode of Lost Aux Media.
Take the road through the trees, kick through the leaves, fear they may follow me. There's a voice on the breeze, weak at the knees. There are just ghost stories. If you bow by every Halloween, do you believe in each and every word that they say? Pull yourself together like they always do, or they just wanna get the better of you. We're coming to get you.
Ooh, I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit of a banger tune if I don't say so myself, you know? So, I will be editing out those coughs. We got a couple of good jamokes to talk about for the rest of the episode. We got a little bit of Lavelle Crawford calling Tony Hinchcliffe gay on Club Shay Shay. He legitimately thought Tony was gay. And we got Haliey Welch, Talk Tuah, and a little bit of Dave Portnoy. So make sure you stick around, folks. Let's have ourselves a good time. Take a couple more hits before we jump into it.
They just wanna make a fool out of
So, Lavelle Crawford on Club Shay Shay. Very interesting. You guys hear about that that little scandal that Shay is dealing with, Shannon Sharp? You know, did you know this guy accidentally put IG Live on while he was clapping cheeks? Yeah, dude. Lot of people on IG, they didn't think Shannon had it in him. You remember Shannon had like a couple of photos of him like jumping out of a Land Rover looking gay as fuck. And people were running with that for a long time. And then this guy accidentally puts on IG Live of him fucking? I don't know. It seems a little suspicious to me. But I digress. Lavelle Crawford, I want to say this was like maybe 3 months ago, maybe a month ago, something. Wasn't recent. But he ended up making an appearance on Club Shay Shay. And if you're not familiar with who Lavelle Crawford is, I'll fill you in. You ever see a show called Breaking Bad? Lavelle Crawford was like that fat black security guard that was for Saul Goodman. Saul Goodman's security guard. He didn't say much in the show, but a lot of people remember him from that meme of Bill Burr and him laying on a huge pile of money, laying on Walter White's money in the storage unit. Everyone's seen that meme. That's who Lavelle Crawford is. And when he was on Club Shay Shay getting interviewed, they start talking about the state of comedy, you know, how you shouldn't go to comedy shows if you're just going to get offended. You know what I mean? That's not what the comedy's about. I kind of agree with that. You shouldn't watch a show like this if you're going to get offended. We're faggot, retard, all that shit, you know? So, yeah, it's, you know, I agree with that sentiment. The funny part about that whole thing was they start bringing up, like, the big comedians nowadays. He brings up Tony Hinchcliffe. He genuinely thinks Tony's fucking gay.
Sometimes I don't know how fucking cringy and ridiculous I sound.
Probably one of the funniest fucking things I've heard in such a long fucking time. So I wanted to get into that time code and just show you guys that real quick before we get into the next segment of the show, talking about Miss Hawk Tuah's boring ass show. So let's listen to this. Lavelle Crawford genuinely thinking Tony Hinchcliffe is gay. This is hilarious.
But when they told, oh, you're going to be through, I'm like, man, you need to get your punk ass out of here.
Right.
You know, you shouldn't come to a show ready to be offended.
Right.
You shouldn't come to a show and worry about being offended.
Yeah, if you go to a comedy show, you should expect.
I mean, the greatest comedians in the world that I love, like Richard Pryor, he shared his life, but he go hard.
Now, this is where he starts mentioning the comedians. They all go hard. Richard Pryor, he went hard. You know? He's about to start bringing up a couple more. Like I said, I agree with this sentiment. But what he ends up saying here just made my day when I listened to this. Watch this.
That I love, like Richard Pryor, he shared his life, but he go hard. Robin Harris, he talk about everybody that artist, he go hard. I love people that they go past the line. Robert Schimmel, I mean, people that people don't even look at and be like incredible. I mean, this guy Tony Hinchcliffe, he was on that roast. Tony Hinchcliffe, and he a gay dude, and Tony will go hard. Yeah.
Oh my God! That is so fucking funny, dude. Tony Hinchcliffe, and he a gay dude. That's the funniest shit to me. That's what made me laugh really hard. Was like, you could tell by the way Lavelle is saying it, he's not joking around. He genuinely thinks Tony's fucking gay. And Tony's constantly, he tries to do that thing where he leans into it. Like Tony's always like, yeah, I'm gay. Yeah, okay, everybody, I'm gay. I suck dicks. Yeah, okay, you trying to do that thing where you like get ahead of the joke so we don't make fun of you? We're still gonna make fun of you. Yeah, it's because you're actually gay. You have to actually be gay, and there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to stop lying to yourself, stop lying to all of us, because Lavelle sees right through you. Look at this guy. This is gonna be fucking funny as hell.
Tony Hinchcliffe, and he a gay dude, and Tony will go hard. Yeah. Tony goes so hard, but what I like about
Tony, he a gay dude, but Tony go hard as fuck, boy. That is so fucking funny to me. I love that. Let's give it up for Lavelle Crawford on the Club Shay Shay show. I love that. There we go. A little late on the applause there, but I'll take it. You know, you didn't leave me completely hanging, which we love around here. So with that being said, let's jump into the next set of time codes because we're running out of time here ourselves. We're going to get into the Hawk Tuah podcast. You know what I mean? We're on the second episode, and we went over the first one just being boring as fuck, and she had Whitney Cummings on. Like, and once again, like I said in that episode, it's not like Whitney's funny as hell. I actually don't find her funny at all. But she's a comedian, and she still couldn't make that episode even the slightest bit entertaining. And then now she does the second episode with her high school friends, like as if we're supposed to give a fuck about that. Sorry, we don't. stepping back to Whitney Cummings, did you know she's now dating professional skateboarder Chris Cole? And did you also know that professional skateboarder Chris Cole has a domestic violence past? Very odd. Whitney has a baby with some guy that's not Chris. Chris likes to beat up his girlfriends. I feel like Whitney likes to get beat up herself. This might be a match made in heaven. So giving it up for Whitney Cummings and Chris Cole, congratulations on your whatever the fuck you call it. But getting back to Talk Tuah, she's going back to her hometown and she's doing a podcast with no famous guests, just her friends. We have no idea who the fuck they are. Why should we care? Like, this is what I'm saying. I don't know if Jake Paul can salvage this. I really honestly feel like this show might just be like something that he's doing just to slap more free advertising for his company better on it. You know, anything where he could just slap ad space on it that he doesn't necessarily have to pay for, I think he's willing to do. You know, whatever he could do to grow that business. I feel like that's what's happening here because 2 episodes in and I'm fucking dying here. So let's check out this intro. You'll see what I'm talking about.
What did she say? Uh-oh, here comes Granny. I was on the radio. On the radio? Granny, listen to what I'm saying to you. I was like, spit on it.
All right, so, you know, we're doing the whole little cold montage opening, which is very, very fucking lame. I hate those. I hate cold openers, man. It just fucks it all up. It's like, you want me to watch it or not? It's like having a movie trailer. All the best parts are in the trailer. You know, then you go to watch the movie. You're like, I can't believe I wasted $14.50 on this dog shit. And plus, I don't want to go crazy into the opening because it's got copyrighted music. So anyway, like I said, you know, you got Granny in there. You got 3 friends from high school. You got Haliey Welch. All people that we had no fucking idea existed 3-4 months ago. So this being the second episode, how are we getting eyes to this shit? Because you don't have a draw here. These 3 nobodies and grandma, that's not a draw to me. So let's go on with it.
Okay, welcome to my front porch. We got Maddie over here. This has been my best friend for 13 years. You already know her. I'm not even going to introduce Chelsea. You already know her. And then you got Alyssa over here. This is Chelsea's sister. And this is our little friend group right here. This is CQBO.
CQBO. This is CQBO. He's got these 3 fucking... like I said, I have no idea who these bitches are. This one on the far left kind of looks like a pug a little bit. This one... I don't know what they all look very weird to me. This one, Jesus Christ, dude. She's doing the duck lip. She's got a fucking sailor's chin on her. These 3 corn-fed hometown bitches that nobody knows. This is the draw for this episode. This is what we have to look forward to. And they're like part of like a fake sorority or something like that. This girl's drinking wine. They bring it up that they didn't even use a wine cork for it. They fucking what's it called? They just pushed the cork through. Now the cork is floating around in the bottle of wine. They didn't even get it out. What are we doing here? This is not the show that I signed up for. You know? Now let's get back into this. This shit is just getting worse and worse and worse. I really don't know if there's any saving this show.
So the night it happens,
Okay.
we were all there. From your perspective.
Okay.
I don't want to hear her perspective anymore.
Yeah, I'm tired of saying it too, so y'all be my guest.
Okay. I feel like we tell the story differently.
So now she's talking about the night that it happened. The night that she said the famous Talk Tuah line, right? But the producers are asking her friends. They want to hear their perspective because as she's been on every podcast under the sun telling her perspective, they're over it. You know what I mean? Now, these girls, they end up talking about how Haley's like been lying about it the whole time. Like she tells her story on other people's podcasts with all these extra details and stuff like that. These bitches just out her right from the rip. Listen to this.
Yeah, we definitely do. You like to add details in there, and I'm like, that didn't happen. Maybe it did. I don't know. I was also.
I know you're trying to get away from there too, though.
Yeah.
While I was standing there holding my own.
Got her.
Okay, so we were all there. You were there.
I was there.
Except you weren't there.
I wasn't with y'all.
Okay, we're all at the CMA Fest. We all went together, right?
But we sat together.
Yeah, we all sat together. Then like after, we were like, oh yeah, let's go out, you know? And me and Haliey and Alyssa and Carly, right? Yeah. We were just walking down Broadway, Alyssa.
Is anybody following what's fucking happening here? Anybody listen? Like, this could have been a good story, but you have 3 of the dumbest bitches in Tennessee telling it. I couldn't even understand what was happening. I just got done listening to her tell it. The little bit that I let play, I can't even recall it. She said 3 people's names. She asked, like, what is the weed getting me, or are they just bad at telling stories? Am I wrong here? Let's try that again.
CMA Fest. We all went together, right?
But we sat together.
Yeah, we all sat together. Then like after, we were like, oh yeah, let's go out, you know? And me and Haliey and Alyssa and Carly, right? Yeah. We were just walking down Broadway. Alyssa and Carly like, oh, let's go to this bar. And me and Haliey like, okay, we're gonna go lollygagging down the street, you know?
Okay, gotcha. So they go to the Country Music Awards Festival, I guess, is the CMA Festival. And they want to get drunk afterwards. They start walking down the street. Then they get the Talk Tuah. Yeah, you know, we've heard it a million times. Trust me, their perspective is not too much different. Aside from her saying, like, oh, you like to add a couple extra details, she doesn't tell you what the details are. And this is what I'm saying. It's kind of just like a bunch of bullshit like this. And then they bring up Shirtussy. And this one made my ears perk a little bit. Didn't like save the show necessarily, but I found this to be an interesting trait that Miss Talk Tuah ends up having. So you remember last episode, she talked about how she has like crazy ass diarrhea because she's lactose intolerant. Bitch can't stop drinking milk, eating cheese, the whole 9. She's constantly blowing up the bathroom. Then this episode, they bring up the Shirtussy. And they point out how they had posted a picture of Haliey online and how people started commenting about this Shirtussy. And they explained what the Shirtussy is. The Shirtussy, I guess, is when like your puss is all like, you know, like scrunched up in your pants and whatever, and your shirt is hanging down and it gets eaten up by your puss. Right? So these, like, I guess this is a small population of girls, you know, ones with like real puffy vaginas. And those puffy vaginas are swallowing up those shirts. So, you know, needless to say, this girl should know better than to wear like a long shirt, you know? If I had that problem as a girl, it's belly shirts from that point on. You know, you don't catch me on nothing even getting close to my waist if I knew my vagina was going to eat that bitch up. Okay? But she's a risk taker. She's a small hometown girl. And that Shirtussy, that ain't nothing to her. Listen to her talk about this.
What's the craziest rumor? I think I want to ask you guys. What's the craziest
Shirtussy. Let's talk about Shirtussy.
That's not a rumor. That was like
real life thing that happened yesterday.
That wasn't even my Shirtussy though.
That was the best comment I've read since this whole thing started. It was a Shirtussy.
Imagine what.
So she's like loving this. She's like, Shirtussy, I'm in love with the Shirtussy. And now she's got the bottle of wine with the cork floating around in it, you know? And I'm sure it's not a solid cork. I'm sure there's bits and pieces broken off all in that shit. They're drinking it all down. This is very like high school-esque behavior. And I don't necessarily blame them because they're like 21-year-old girls. And this is what we should expect out of a group of 21-year-old girls. Is this bullshit, you know? This girl, she didn't become famous for like any meritable reason. She just said something. Now everybody, once again, like I say a million times, broken record, is taking gambles on that. I feel like these gambles aren't going to pan out, but maybe that's just me. Let's keep watching about this Shirtussy.
Waking up from a nap, like you're taking this really good ass nap. I was waiting on you to tell me if you're staying with them or if you're going home. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a nap. My comforter's dry and whatever. Took me a little nap. I wake up. I don't know how she timed it so good. I had like a bunch of messages and everything else. I was like, what's this about? I wake up, she FaceTimes me. She's like, Haliey, go to your Instagram. I was like, what? What is it? She's like, shirt tussy. It's like,
People are talking about your shirt tussy, and she was like, oh my God. She already knew what I was talking about because we.
There you go. So now they're getting real heavy on the shirt tussy, you know? And I was trying to find pictures of the shirt tussy. I guess they scrubbed them already. You know what I mean? Now she goes to explain what the shirt tussy is. I explained it to you, but I'm not doing it justice. I don't got one of these, you know? I don't got one of these wide set vaginas. So I can't really explain it the way that Miss Welch is going to explain it. Let's hear it come out of her mouth.
So a shirt tussy is when you have a fat cooter and your cooter decides to take a bite out of your shirt. That's exactly what a shirt tussy is. And don't act like you haven't ever had one. Or
I've
moose
never
knuckle.
seen that before. Actually, I've never. You're the first shirt
Well, hell, it's better than a camel toe.
It's basically the same thing. I think it's worse.
I don't know. I'd rather have a camel toe than a shirt tussy.
God damn, you rather have a camel toe than a shirt tussy? I mean, they're kind of like one and the same. I would imagine if that thing is eating up your shorts, it's going to eat up whatever else you throw down there. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful with these things. You ever see that movie Teeth? If you haven't seen that movie Teeth, go look it up. That movie Teeth will fucking it'll do something to you. And like I said, this is all just very, very boring stuff. Aside from these little like one-off things, I don't know if this is going to be like a widespread show that like everybody's going to enjoy. It's just going to be some high school bullshit. Like I picture high schoolers really being into that, kids really being into that. Other than that, I'm going to have to give it 2 thumbs down, bitch. So let's give it up for Miss Haliey Welch and yet another boring ass episode of her show. But I will keep watching because I'm very curious as to what these actual celebrity guests that she's going to have on in the future try to like pawn off on her knowledge-wise. You know, it seems like every single person she's interviewed so far that's famous already has tried to be like, this is the way to do it. You got to do it like this. You got to do this. You got to come to this network. You got to do that. And I feel like even though she has her own show, people are still going to try to pull that shit on her. So we'll keep tabs on it for sure. But what I want to end the show on is Dave Portnoy. This guy has really just become like a man after my own heart. You know what I mean? Like something about Dave is just pure gold to me. Because like I said in the previous episode talking about him, he just comes off as like an idiot. So no matter what he says, whether it's like offensive or whether it's a little bit outlandish, you might not agree with it. It's just coming from a place of stupidity. That's all it is. Everything that he says is just dumb as fuck. And what makes it even funnier is that like he wholeheartedly believes and will stick to his guns with whatever he says, no matter how dumb it is. Like he'll try to bring up like an old catchphrase or something like that. He'll say it completely wrong. Someone will correct him on it, and he'll stand by his fucking convictions like a champ. He'll be like, no, it means what I said it means. But he's not like overly pretentious about it. He like genuinely believes it. It's hard to explain the buffoonery that is Dave Portnoy. It really is. You just have to watch it for yourself and really embrace it for what it is, which is just like solid fucking gold. So if you remember, lately in the news, a lot of people have been talking about Dave Grohl. You know, this guy had a kid outside of his marriage. He just nonchalantly one day just has a nice little Twitter post or Instagram post or something, is like, hey guys, sorry to tell you I happen to have a kid. My wife knows about it. Let's move on. Obviously, that's a little more complex than that. You have to do some explaining to the goddamn fans, man. What are you doing here? So this is going to be the topic that they bring up on the BFFs podcast. And this was one of the first times in this episode that Dave went and said some outlandishly stupid shit. And it's gold. I'm not going to lie. It's gold. Listen to this.
All right, Dave Grohl.
This was unreal. He issued like a press release, like a player was questionable for the next week in the NFL, except it was, I've recently become the father of a new baby daughter born outside of my marriage. I plan to be a loving and supportive parent to her. I love my wife and my children. I'm doing everything I can to gain their trust and earn their forgiveness. We're grateful for your consideration toward all the children involved as we move forward together. Just casually, like, oh, I had a baby with someone else. I'm going to love that kid. My family, and we're going to work through it.
So now this is funny, right? Enough as it is that Dave's just like cracking jokes about it and stuff like that. This isn't fucking, professional comedian level comedy here, but he's taking a couple stabs. This is not really the funny part to me. The funny part is he starts talking about how, he likes Dave Grohl. Most people do. Most people did before this situation happened. And he goes on to say the same thing. But then he goes on to talk about how, like, Dave Grohl's pregnancy outside of his marriage and the child that he had out of wedlock is like karma that he's getting, right? But it's karma because he was talking shit a couple months ago about Taylor Swift. That's like what he honestly feels. And if you don't know, Dave Portnoy is like a big Swiftie. You know what I mean? He's like genuinely a big Taylor Swift fan. So he's all on board Team Taylor. And to listen to him say this shit is actually fucking hilarious. Listen to this. It's so rich. Listen to this.
Nothing to see here.
Yeah, I mean, is there a right way to say you cheated? I don't know if there's a right way to.
No, but
I still a piece of shit.
You're right. Oh, there is no right way, but this is kind of an extreme version. It's not like, hey, I'm cheating. It's like I'm having a kid.
Yeah.
You assume the family had to know.
I mean, yeah.
Dave Grohl also, who I like, by the way. I like the.
So now here's where he's about to get into it. This is what I'm talking about. Now you're about to hear it. He starts saying, Dave, who I like. When people start talking like this, you know that nothing good's going to come out of their mouth. You know how people, it's almost like when someone says, hey, no disrespect, but, and then they hit you with some bullshit. Like, hey, no disrespect, bro, but you look like a fat fucking slob right now. You know? No disrespect, bro. I like you and all, but that haircut, you look like a fucking faggot, bro. You know, that's like that type of talk coming from Dave Portnoy right now. Listen to him. So remember, I like Dave Grohl, but here we go.
Foo Fighters was kind of high and mighty on Taylor Swift not too long ago.
Let's back it up a little bit so you can understand it a little better.
No.
I mean, yeah.
Dave Grohl also, who I like, by the way, I like the Foo Fighters, was kind of high and mighty on Taylor Swift not too long ago. It's funny how that came back to roost. What is that? The rooster back to roost?
Taylor. Listen to that bullshit. So now, not only is he saying like, yeah, Dave's getting a little karma for getting in on Taylor Swift a couple months ago. He's also saying this like dumbass catchphrase. You know when people say, oh, looks like the chickens have come home to roost. And it's when people are saying like, oh, looks like somebody's finally getting what they deserve. But he even says that wrong. He's like, oh, looks like he came home to roost. It looks like Dave Grohl came home to roost, I guess. You know, that's the way the cookie crumbles. That's probably, it wouldn't surprise me if he said that right after. You know what I mean? Listen to this.
Like the Foo Fighters was kind of high and mighty on Taylor Swift not too long ago. It's funny how that came back to roost. What is that?
Funny how that came back to roost. That's classic Dave right there. So now his co-hosts are about to pick up on this. Listen to this.
The rooster back to roost.
Taylor, I don't know, man. You got different sayings every week.
Listen to that. The one guy, I still don't know this guy's name. I've been listening to this show for 2 months, dude. I still have no fucking idea who this fucking guy is. I still don't, but I listen anyway for Dave. I listen strictly for Dave Portnoy. So now this guy, he's like, I don't know, man. You come up with different fucking catchphrases every week. And then you have this over here. Brianna Chicken Fries really let herself go. I'm telling you. I don't know what they put in Brianna Chicken Fries fucking food, but she needs to lay off that shit. You know, last week, Brianna Chicken Fry weighed like 115 pounds. No, but in all seriousness, I don't know who this fucking crazy fat bitch is, but she sounds insane. She looks a little insane, but I'm not going to lie. I actually kind of dig her energy. She's like giving shots at Dave and all that shit. So like, she might be good for the show. We should probably ditch Brianna Chicken Fry and stick with this chick, dude. She's got a funnier voice and she seems like she might just be funnier in general. But now these two, they hear Dave's crazy ass phrase and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro?
Is that the rooster back to roost?
I don't know, man. You got different sayings every week.
What is that one?
The rooster came back to roost?
No, I thought it was just came back to roost.
No, something's got to come back to roost, no?
I don't know if the rooster's roosting or not. You got a lot of like barn analogies or sayings.
Yeah, it's just come back to roost.
The roosters came back to roost?
No, like X comes home to roost.
Grohl comes home.
So now these guys are fucking going through mental gymnastics trying to figure out this goddamn catchphrase. Dave's just going to look it up on his phone. And he's just going to keep saying even more dumb shit. Like I said, he like genuinely believes and is like convinced that he's in the right. It's like one of those, you know how people say like you can't win an argument with the dumb person? It's like that, you know? I could only imagine having him as a boss must be like the coolest thing, but like the worst thing ever, you know? He's probably one of those guys that like doesn't micromanage people and just lets you do your thing. But then when you actually have to get something done and something important needs to, you know, get it achieved and accomplished, he's probably like the worst guy to go to for it. You know what I mean? He strikes me as one of them.
The roosters came back to roost?
No, like X comes home to roost.
Grohl comes home to roost and impregnate other ladies besides his wife.
Chickens have come home to roost.
Yeah, chickens have come home to roost. I think you're supposed to say chickens. Used of person's past actions that are causing him or her to experience problems in the present.
Now, there's the definition, right? Now he goes to like say, oh, this is what that phrase is supposed to mean. Wait until you hear the crazy shit that comes out of this guy's mouth. Listen to this.
Her bad decisions are coming back to roost. So he made fun of Taylor Swift.
And then that's what got another girl pregnant.
Yeah,
Correct.
teamwork's crazy.
I don't understand.
Correct. Dude, you gotta love Dave. He sticks to that shit. He's yes, that's like why I love this guy is because they're legitimately presenting to him like, yo, your shit sounds dumb as fuck. You have no idea how dumb that shit actually sounds. Let us explain it to you. They do. They say, so this is what you meant by that. And just to have him look them dead in the fucking Zoom screen and go, yes. That's like, without even fucking wavering at all. He goes, yes. I love that, dude. Listen to this again.
And how that coincides. I don't think that's.
I have to watch that again. Let's go back.
He made fun of Taylor Swift.
And then that's what got another girl pregnant.
Yeah, teamwork's crazy.
I don't understand how that coincides.
That
I don't think that's the same.
Taylor Swift, Karma song.
Mic drop.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you're
you.
just saying what goes around comes around, kind of.
Yeah,
You're just saying bad behavior.
Chickens came home to roost. That's the same thing.
No, but
that's literally what that means. Well,
Now you see how passionate he's getting, dude. This is fucking so funny. Even look at this guy's fucking face. That they like genuinely want to get into it right now with this jamoke. He's like, Dave, you're fucking retarded, dude. This is so fucking solid. I love Dave Portnoy. Just this alone, I could watch on a loop.
No, it isn't. We just read the definition. Chickens come home to roost means when their past actions are now impacting them.
Correct.
His past actions with Taylor Swift isn't impacting the pregnancy of the woman he fucked outside of his marriage.
I don't know that it wasn't.
This is fucking crazy, dude, that he's saying this. Listen to him again.
Impacting the pregnancy of the woman he fucked outside of his marriage.
I don't know that it wasn't. Again, karma.
What? What? You think that he was at home after those tweets or his statement about Taylor Swift and was like, man, you know what I need to do now? Probably go cheat on my wife.
No, I think it's karma. It's like...
All right, that's just fucking gold right there. So Dave is like, really, that's it's just so funny. He like lives in his own universe, and just the dumb shit that comes out of his mouth. It's just so fucking hilarious to me, and that's why we love him. Let's give it up for Dave Portnoy, man. This has been a very fun episode, and I appreciate you guys joining me while I'm sick as a dog, finishing out my week. I hope that I wasn't too bad for you. I don't want to blame the sickness. That's why I just briefly mentioned it. I got a couple sneezes that will be edited out of the show, okay? And I'm sure you could probably hear my nasaliness and my scratchy throat, but I appreciate you putting up with me. So thank you for that. If you're listening, be sure to catch us at youtube.com/@Lost Aux Media. That's youtube.com/@Lost Aux Media. And you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you catch your podcast on Wednesdays. Audio episodes go up at 5 a.m. and YouTube episodes go up at 4 p.m. That way, you can listen on your way to work, and when you get home from work, you can watch them. That's just the way we do it here. So let's put on a little bit of music and get ready to say goodbye. As always, I love you guys, and thank you once again for watching. Until next time, goodbye.
So I've written a script of what I would say to Adam Sandler if I ever met him. You are the epicenter of my world. Words cannot express how in my eyes you truly hung the moon. You've evoked every emotion a human can fathom feeling all inside of my household. You changed the world. You are home for so many, and rightfully so. You are America's father, brother, best friend, and loving husband.